Well, good day and welcome to another edition of the Grantley Show here on your favourite channel. My guest on the programme today, she is a solo gospel artist from the UK. In her own words, she has described herself and her music as being gospel music with soul and jazz influences, with a little bit of hip hop thrown in between. She has had choir experience, which we shall talk about in a little while, and she's also won a few awards and been nominated for quite a few this year. Who am I talking about? The one, the only Priscilla Bailey. Hello, Priscilla.
Hello there. Hi, Grantley. How are you?
I'm blessed of God, but you probably know that. Priscilla,
Blessed
it's
and
really
highly
good.
favoured.
Yeah, blessed and highly favored. Why not say that as well? So, look, it's been a while since I've been longing to speak to you. I remember, um, I think it might have been last year we were on the red carpet together for a Step Forward Awards, and you picked up an award at last year's event. Or was it the year before? I'm kind of getting my years mixed up. I think
Yeah, I
it was
think it
the
was
year
the year
before.
before.
The
I
year
only got
before.
nominated, but yes.
Yes. So, and we did a short little, congratulations on the red carpet and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I've been itching to sort of like, speak to you about the hard work that you've been putting in. So your single that we were raging over, "Beat of Love," hit the G Tracks platform. Must be coming up to a year now, or just under a year still, but doing well.
Yeah,
Um,
just a year.
and I remember a conversation that I had with you when you put out the single. I was like, wow, this is really cool. This is really, really nice. And before we sort of get into your musical career, I want to give our viewers a little synopsis of who you really are. I
Mhm.
don't know that much about you, Priscilla, but I do know that you were brought up in the Midlands area, right? Tell us
Yes.
about your early childhood, where did you grow up and your siblings, mum and dad, and a little bit about your education. Give us a good picture of that.
All right. So I was born in Birmingham and raised in Birmingham, in a area close to Walsall, Sutton Coldfield, called King's Standing. Um, and yeah, I went to school there. Um, I was a bit of a tomboy, so I was always outside on my bike and climbing trees and up to no good with my friends. But yeah, my mom is the one that raised me and my sister. My dad, he was living in another household, but I did see my dad regularly, probably more so as a teenager. And my dad was a huge influence on me because he played bass guitar in a reggae band. And my mum also, she had a lot of vinyl records at home, and so she'd constantly play those when she was ironing or, doing the cleaning around the house. And I was just intrigued. I was always listening and then looking at the sleeve covers and looking at the pictures and the lyrics. So those kind of things kind of I'd say, yeah, there were kind of seeds from very young. Um, you asked about schooling, so
Yeah.
yeah, I went to a big secondary school. I wouldn't say that I was. I worked very hard, but I wasn't very academic, so I found school very
you know,
very difficult.
I'm sorry, I just pressed the wrong button, but it kind of sounds like you're reading from one of the teacher's report. Like when they say, Priscilla was, she was a hard worker, very, she was bright. They kind of skirt around what they really want to say, but yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I
So,
think the
so
the only two favourite subjects at the time was French and PE. That was it.
okay, okay, I understand. French and PE, very interesting. So the PE side of it kind of gels well with you being a bit of a tomboy, right?
Probably. I was
and
always running up and down somewhere.
And do you parlez-vous français now? Do you speak any French now? Are you
Oui, je
fluent?
parle un peu de
Okay.
français, mais non, je peux pas. Non, je parle pas couramment en
Ah,
français.
which means what exactly?
I don't speak fluently in
You
French.
don't speak fluently, but you know enough to say I don't speak fluently in French, which is brilliant. Excellent. So when you left school, were there loads of qualifications, and what sort of got you on the path of music?
It wasn't after school actually. I was in school. I was very shy. So let's talk about secondary school. I was extremely shy. Um, I had my friends outside of school, and that was pretty much. I went home and I watched a lot of dance shows, music shows like Top of the Pops. Um, and then I would create choreography with one of my friends outside of school. And so we'd put on shows for our families and things. So it was very much like that. But yeah, like I said, I wasn't very academic, so I didn't do that well at secondary school. But yeah, I kind of applied myself a bit later on as a teen. I wanted to see, what options there were. So teaching was one with my French, which eventually I didn't do. But
You've got
life
to
has
try
a
that. You've
life
got to
has a
try
way
though,
of
haven't you,
just
Priscilla? You've got to try. You've got to at least try.
yeah. Life is not just one straight path sometimes. So I tried a few things, and then finally I've ended up doing what I do today, which is speech and language therapy.
Wonderful. Speech and language therapy. And is that in like a school setting or what exactly?
It's in well, I work in hospitals mainly, but yeah, I'm going to be returning to like a rehab centre where people who've had strokes and brain injuries they get therapy, so they get physio, they get occupational therapy and speech therapy
Yeah.
to get them back on their feet.
Cool. Sounds good. Sounds good. Sounds very rewarding, right?
It is.
Cool. Nice. I like it when people do work in an environment where they get to achieve and get to help people and things of that nature.
Yeah.
Have you always been a Christian?
No. Well, I grew up as a Christian, I suppose. I was always sent to Sunday school.
Reluctantly, right?
Yeah.
Reluctantly.
Actually, I enjoyed it when I was very small, and my gran would take me as well when I went to visit her. And then as a teenager, it just didn't. It wasn't cool anymore, so I stopped going. And then it wasn't until my late 20s. I'm trying not to say when I became Christian. No, I'm
Yeah.
joking.
Yeah.
So I became Christian in 2001, basically,
Okay.
and yeah, so I've been a Christian since then. I dedicated my life to Jesus, and that was off the back of someone who was at my old school, my secondary school. He'd become a Christian, and we hadn't seen each other for a while. And he came on the same bus that I was on,
Yeah.
and he was like, "Oh, trying to we were catching up." And then he said, "Oh, I'm a Christian," and he was
Yeah.
telling me about what that meant and how he gave his life to Christ. So
Yeah.
yeah, it was all very interesting. And then, like a few weeks later, I got invited to his church, and that's when I became a Christian.
Praise the Lord. What church was that?
It was called Sandon Road Family Church.
And was that in the Midlands?
Yes, yes,
Okay. To be fair, I've never heard of that church, but yeah, there's loads of churches, right?
there
All
are.
right. And then musically, I know that you've sang with the Birmingham Community Choir, which has picked up awards with BBC, etc. How did all of that come about?
Good question, actually. I believe yes. So I eventually moved on from Sandon Road and went to an Elim church nearer to where I lived, and a lady who was on worship team because I was singing on worship team as well. She's telling me about a choir that she's also a part of, and I was intrigued because I like the sound of choirs, and I just went along one day to see what they were about, and it was traditional gospel, really beautiful harmonies. Um, and yeah, after a while, I started to join in. Um, yeah, it just came from church. Really, someone from church had told me.
Sounds really good. So what was your part? Was you soprano, or you weren't
Well,
tenor?
I just assumed I was an alto because I'd always, whenever I was asked to sing at church, I always got kind of, I wouldn't say relegated, but I was pretty much put into the lower harmonies. Just like, oh
Right.
yeah, you can do lower harmony,
Okay then.
and I was fine. I was very good at lower harmony, but it wasn't until probably even a couple of years into the choir that Maxine, who is the leader of that choir, she said, "You're not an alto. You're more mezzo soprano." And she
Yeah.
kept kind of encouraging me to sing more of the soprano parts, and then it really did develop my voice. So I'm kind of sitting in between alto and soprano.
To this very day.
Indeed.
So tell us
Indeed.
about the split from the choir. So how did you become a solo artist? Is the question that I'm asking you.
Um, yeah, it was let me think. Well, it kind of just evolved because I was in a worship team at church, and often at time we'd do outreach on the street. So we'd be singing songs, popular songs, but we'd Christianize it. So we'd make it more towards giving the good news of the gospel,
Yeah.
and just yeah, we'd be out on the street just kind of sharing our faith. And then someone had asked me if I had a CD because I was leading a few of the songs. He said, "I really like your voice. Do you have a CD?" And I said, "No, I haven't recorded anything." And um, and then later on, when I joined the choir, um, there was an opportunity for me to record at one of the members' home studios. So it kind of just went from there, and I just gave it a go. Very nerve wracking because I wasn't really used to being in a studio, and yeah, we just went from there. I started to make songs. Some of them were very amateur sounding, if I'm honest. But yeah, it was a really good experience,
Can
and
you
it kind of
remember your first recording that you did? Tell us about that.
yeah, gosh, it was awful.
Sorry. I'm so sorry, Priscilla. Tell us about
It
it
was
anyway.
awful.
Go on, tell
It
us.
was awful. Yeah, I booked a producer, I booked a studio, and I think it was called Power of Love, the song. And I can see the themes of my song are always about love anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, Power of Love. And I don't know, he kind of misinterpreted what I'd asked for in terms of the style. So it ended up being kind of, even though I wanted it to sound like house, it more sounded like garage or something. It didn't sound like something that I'd really want to sing on. And yeah, it wasn't the best. I didn't have a great experience.
So that wasn't one of your best releases then, no?
No, I didn't actually release it. I had it on a CD or
It was
something,
that
and
bad.
I thought I can't do it.
I can't do that to anybody.
Yeah, I can't do
No,
it.
no,
And
no,
then I
no.
had another one. I was playing around with themes. I think one was about Valentine's or something.
Love
Don't ask me why.
again. Oh, you're
Don't ask
very
me.
loving and caring person, aren't you?
And yeah, I didn't release that one either. So after that, funny enough, my songwriting started to pick up. I was starting to develop more mature, I'd say, themes, and so yeah, I created my EP, off the back of that.
Tell us about that. What was the name of it? How many tracks?
The EP was called I Believe in Love,
Yeah.
and I believe it was 5 tracks,
What year?
um, 2016.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. Wonderful.
2016.
I believe in love.
I Believe in Love.
Love again, eh? Woohoo. Hey.
And Make the Best of It was on that one, and I think there was a few others.
Yeah.
But yeah, Make the Best of It, I think probably did better than all of the other songs.
Okay. And back then, I mean, you're still a independent artist, but how was you managing back then? I mean, you brought out an EP, um, and as far as I know, Priscilla, you've always sort of done everything by yourself, right? So, you know, there's nobody that says, "Look, I'm going to help you to register the song." There's nobody that says, "I'm going to do the artwork." There's nobody that says, "Do you know what I mean? I'm going to get it to radio." You've done all of that by yourself. Am I right in saying that?
Not 100%. So when I first started, it was a lady called Juliet Farrell who had been, yeah, she'd been quite encouraging in getting this EP started. And so when the project was finished, she actually did my website, and um, her husband had registered the music because I had no idea how to do any of that. And then they sent my songs to the DJs that they knew. So it wasn't until after that that I started to take the reins, because I then started to find out more about the DJs and develop relationships with them.
Yeah,
I thought it was quite important to kind of keep that open communication once I started to put more and more music out. So yeah, from there I started to get my pictures more professionally done and all the rest of it. And I just took it from there. But yeah, they were responsible for releasing the EP and the album, and then after that, everything after that is me.
yes, to this very day. To this
Yes.
very day. All right, so look, you could probably coach a lot of people that have been in similar positions are who may be in that kind of position right now because you've kind of lived it, you've walked that path, and you know how challenging it can be, right? What
Yeah.
would you say is probably one of the biggest challenges that you faced as an independent gospel female artist? Quite a lot.
Oh, I don't think there's one big challenge. I think there's many challenges into one. Um, so, I mean, if you're independent, you've got to know that you're going to be funding everything. So, our music is not um, it's it's not cheap. It's not cheap to produce. But there are people out there, that are willing to help in those areas. Some people are very charitable, or they see your potential, and so are willing to even forfeit some of the studio time sometimes. But it's just a case of having to go out there and network and find out, you know, where certain studios are, who other people work with, who they've recommended, etc.
Yeah.
I think for me, yes, I think doing everything has been the challenge.
It's not easy, is it? It
And
cannot have been
it's
easy
not
at all.
easy.
All right, so let's let's
No,
let's
and I've
turn
had to
our
be very organised.
yeah,
Sorry.
let's turn our attention to the new album, which is um, going to be released in the month of May. Give us the release date on that,
It's the 23rd of May.
and the album is called
The
Greater
album is called Greater Love.
Greater Love. Actually knew what it was, but I wanted you to say it. All right, so love again.
Love again,
Love again.
yes.
You know what? There's nothing wrong with love. There's absolutely enough. God has given us that.
The world needs love. The world
Especially
needs
right
love.
now, would you agree?
Yeah.
Right now, if there's ever been a time when this world needs love, it's right now. So, Greater Love is the title of your new album. It's coming out on the 23rd of May. How many
Correct.
tracks? Tell us about it.
Right. So I've registered 13 tracks. It was meant to be 12, but I was being extra, put a bonus in.
Okay.
So it's 13, 13 tracks together.
I love your chuckle. So 13 tracks, and what can people expect when they hear the 13 tracks?
Um, well, they can expect to hear songs that reflect teachings in the Bible around the theme of love, and that's not just in theory what love is, but what love looks like. I know it's hard to define at times, but yeah, it kind of challenges those that don't know Christ to try and kind of seek him and find have a relationship with him, sorry,
Wow.
and for those that are probably on the slippy slopes to kind of come back to God. So
Yeah.
there's a song called Family, which is basically about the kingdom of God, and it's explaining in layman's terms about what that would look like
Yeah.
in terms of joining a family, joining the
Yeah.
church family.
Yeah. Yeah. That's really cool. I like that. I like that. I like that you've got a theme going through the whole album. And while you were talking there, I was thinking, I bet Priscilla has a specific song that she's going to do a special release on as a single come the 14th of February.
Well, you would be right. So yes, I'm going to release a song called Presence, and it's probably slightly different to what I normally sing about, but I'm basically just singing about the presence of God, and it's based off the theme of not the theme, the scripture, Psalm 23. The Lord is my shepherd, and so there are lyrics that, yeah, kind of relating to the scriptures that the words that say, "The Lord is my shepherd; I shall not want. He makes me to lie down in green pastures." But then it's also about, yeah, my own personal communion with God, and what that's like for me. So I'm
Yeah.
kind of inviting people to my world, I suppose, and my relationship with God. Very catchy hooks. You'll expect those from me,
Yeah.
um, and very thought provoking lyrics. And hopefully, lyrics that kind of plant seeds in people's hearts and minds.
Yeah, that's good. It's
Yeah.
always good to have that kind of intention, isn't it? You know, you don't as Christians, as gospel artists, we don't just make songs.
No,
We don't just make
definitely.
songs, you know. There's got to be some sort of purpose to what we do. I'm really
Yeah.
glad that you have reached this stage. I'm sure there's been many challenges, many setbacks, right?
You know.
Right? Listen,
You know. Yes,
and you
it's
know
been
the
hard
reason
for
why
you.
I know, Priscilla. The reason why I know is because being both of us are Christians, and we know the challenges that come when you're trying to achieve something for the kingdom.
Mm.
Devil tries to put a chokehold on you,
Oh yeah.
right? Tell us about one particular thing that you thought, ah,
One.
I know there's many, right? But yeah, think of something really funny that we can laugh about now.
Oh gosh, I don't think I'm at the stage of laughing yet. Really not.
I know it hasn't been.
Um,
I know it hasn't all been smooth sailing because when, like I said before, when we're putting something together for Christ, right, we do get challenged a little bit. But yeah,
yeah.
give us one story.
I suppose there's not one, but I mean, more recently,
Yeah.
I was just at the end. I thought was at the end because I had about two songs left to mix and master. So I'd sent them off to the engineer, and you know, I'm ready to kind of upload all of my songs because everything had come back. I thought in time, and then when I looked, now I'm uploading everything to CD Baby, and it said that the bit rate, it's all very technical, but the bit rate was too much. It was too high. So I had to go back to all of these engineers to try and get them done. And there was one that I actually couldn't get hold of. So I had to try and figure it out. And this is where I think, my gosh, God is, I don't know whether God's stretching me of forcing me to learn these things because I'm like, I have no idea what I'm doing, but
but
somehow
but
managed
you
to do
did
it.
it, right? You did it.
I managed to do it, but my
Yeah.
gosh, yeah.
And obviously, technically, some people would be like, "What's she on about bit rate?" But I actually understand. But yeah, it had to be a specific bit rate in order for the digital company to accept it,
Yeah,
and it was
that's
too
correct.
high, and you had to get them low. And this guy probably went away on holiday or something. You couldn't get
Yeah,
hold of him, right?
yeah,
Yeah,
that's
these things
correct.
happen. As they say, these
Yeah.
things are set to try us and test us and stretch us and
And
stuff like
I
that.
really wanted one song to be on the album, and I couldn't get the instrumental from the producer. He'd sent a note saying that he was going to send it to me at a later stage, and it never came.
He never did. Do you think you can? Do you think there'll be a time later down the road where you might still get it?
Well, I don't think so. It doesn't look like it.
You just don't know, right?
I
You
don't
just
think
don't
so.
know.
But
Okay.
it's good in a way because I've always said that my next few projects are going to be more of a live feel or live set.
Wow, wouldn't that
So
be something special?
that's
My
what I'm hoping
goodness,
to.
that
Yeah.
would
So
be different for you because you've never
I'll
done
eliminate.
live recording, have you?
I haven't done live recording, but live is my. I'd say it's my sweet spot because this is my background. Even with the
Yeah,
choir and worship
yeah,
team, and
yeah.
I love
Oh,
going with the flow.
Priscilla,
And
I am
so,
so excited for you. You just do not understand. I'm so
oh,
excited. All right, so look, you've got a listening party that you're going to put together, right? Tell us the aim of it and when will it be?
so I've not only got one but two listening parties because that's me. Like to push myself. Yeah, so one's tomorrow. That's going to be
Tomorrow,
yes, TikTok
the
Live.
the the 10th of May, right?
Yes, TikTok
10th of
Live
May,
7 o'clock, and then
and it'll be on TikTok. Sorry, I was talking, so say that again.
yes, it's going to be on TikTok Live tomorrow at
Yeah.
7 o'clock. And then the second one, because I'm having two, is going to be on the 18th of May. And that's going to be on, let me see, no, it's not Facebook, YouTube.
YouTube. Okay. All right. So everybody's asking the question. I can look at, yes, everybody's asking the question, Priscilla.
Yes.
How do I get the link? Is it by following you on TikTok, following you on your YouTube channel? How does it work?
Yeah, so you just subscribe to my channels. So I'm on TikTok at Priscilla Bailey Music One on TikTok.
Say that again.
At Priscilla Bailey Music One. It's number one.
Okay. And that's TikTok, yeah?
It's TikTok.
I think I follow you, so I should get that.
Yeah.
And what time is that tomorrow?
7 o'clock.
7 p.m. That's 1900 hours.
1900 hours, yes.
Okay, and then the next one is going to be on the 18th of May, and that's going to
Yes.
be on YouTube.
That's on YouTube, yeah.
And you have to subscribe to.
Priscilla Bailey Music. Hold on, let me just double check because sometimes I get this
Double
wrong.
double check. And I think I've got some of your notes as well. Priscilla Bailey music. That's right.
That's
YouTube.
it.
Yeah, yeah. And that's on the 18th. What time?
7 p.m.
And that's at 7 p.m. again. Great. So that's the listening parties. Parties.
Yes, yes. And
Okay.
so the whole thing is just basically to, yeah, just let you hear the album and to
Just to hear the
discuss.
album, not to say like Priscilla, oh, we don't like that one, so don't include that. It's too late for
No,
that anyway,
it's
right?
too late. It's too late. So
It's
I'm going
too
to
late.
explain the
It's
the
too
idea and
late.
what the ideas were behind each song,
Yeah.
and allow people to hear them.
Okay, so you're going to give little explanations as to how it was
Yes,
written and why and the feel and the look and oh, I can't wait. I can't wait. Not sure if I can make tomorrow.
that's okay. Well,
Uh,
it's a good job we got two, isn't it?
yeah. That's clever thinking. You are such a savvy lady. You really are. Priscilla, thank you so much for sharing time with me. Come the 23rd of May, when the album's released, how can people get their hands on it?
Right. So even though I've uploaded my songs to CD Baby, I also will have my album available on Bandcamp and also on gtracks.net. So I know that some people would prefer to download, and I'd prefer you to download actually as well. So Bandcamp and gtracks.net will definitely have the songs on the 23rd of May.
Okay. Now, I know this much that you've got your own online store at gtracks.net. Am I right in saying that?
That's correct, yeah.
You've got your own online store. You've got some of your music there. Beat of Love is there already. There's a song that
Yeah.
you did with a gentleman. I can't
Heaven.
remember.
It's called Heaven,
Heaven,
yes.
yeah, that's a collaboration, which
Yes.
leads me to ask maybe two more song questions before I let you go. So
Yes.
that was a wonderful collaboration, and I think there was a nomination for a collaboration that you did. That was nominated for an award. But
Yes.
if you could literally, the answer would be yes, right? The answer would be yes, a given already. Um, if you could collaborate with anyone, literally anyone, they've said yes already. Who would that be? Give us two names.
Oh, two names. I love Tamala Man. Tamala Man. She's
Okay,
just,
she's a darling.
yeah, I really love her voice. Who else would it be? Mm, CC Winans.
CC Winans.
Yeah,
She's coming to the UK next month.
she is.
You
Yes,
gonna see her?
I didn't get this. I didn't get any
Didn't get any tickets. Tickets
tickets.
sold out 22nd, and tickets are going
Yeah.
fast for the 23rd. Listen, I'm actually going to be playing at the concert. If you were coming, I could give you like a link up with
Oh.
CC. But yeah, you're going to have to get your ticket. Um, let me sneak in one more question.
Hmm.
Production wise,
Yeah.
if you could have anyone, they're going to say yes because I know them and I'm giving you the hook up. They're going to say yes. Who would you? Is there anyone whose production you like? Who would it be if you could have any producer in the whole world? Give us two names if you can.
Oh. Okay. Let me just. I don't want to get their names wrong, so hold on a minute. I think it was called. No, I'm not going to guess.
Who have they worked with? Who have they worked with?
They've worked with Janet Jackson.
All right, is that Jam and Lewis?
Yes.
Jimmy Jam and
Yes.
Terry Lewis. Jimmy
That's it.
Jam
Jimmy Jam.
and Terry
Terry Lewis.
Lewis.
Yeah,
You'd work with
definitely.
those guys.
Yeah.
Man, that's big time.
Yeah.
That is big time. Well done. So look, the album's called Greater Love. It's due for release on the 23rd of May. Go to gtracks.net, download as many of the songs as you can. The songs are just £1 up on the platform, right?
Yes.
Okay, great. Priscilla, thank you so much for sharing some time with us. I will catch up with one of the listening parties, but for now, thank you so much for being my guest on today's program.
It's okay. Thank you for inviting me. Really enjoyed the interview. And yeah, I really appreciate your support.
No problem. So there you go, my guest on the program, the wonderful, illustrious Priscilla Bailey here on the Grantley Show. I'm looking forward to speaking to um, Patricia in Beaumont. But oh, sorry, I'm getting a name wrong here. But yeah, she's one of these artists that does a lot of old time reggae, and I shall be speaking to her next week, I believe, and I can't wait for that. Also, I've got lined up Roy Francis. We're going to be speaking about the Windrush book that he put out recently as well. So I'm looking forward to all of that and a lot more. So do stay close to the channel. Subscribe if you haven't done to the Grantley Show. And I look forward to catching up with you real soon. God bless you. Thank you for tuning this way. And do share the program with somebody else.